Good morning, y'all. It is Saturday, November 15th, and I just wanted to do a stream this morning to show off my AYN Thor, a retro handheld with two screens that I've had for a couple weeks now that I am really super enjoying. Um I'll say I'm not sure how long we'll go. I'd kind of just like to play some games, not necessarily like, just go game to game, show off performance, just like play some games as I would normally on this thing. Um and stuff. Let me first start off by saying what it is. This is the AYN Thor or AYN Thor. I've heard both. I've heard people say it one way or the other. The grip is not part of it, by the way. You can remove the grip here, but I quite like it. It makes it more ergonomical. Ergonomic. I don't know if that's a term. Um, it's quite nice in the hand with the grips. I find, um, and very powerful device. What the fuck? Where am I going with this? Trying to do this off the cuff in a fashion that makes sense. So this is a two-screened retro handheld running Android. Um, it has pretty powerful chips, basically equivalent to the AYN Odin, which is more powerful than the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, which was the previous clamshell handheld that everyone was recommending. Basically, these chips are as powerful as you can get on a decently priced device. Like they're near flagship, they're like Snapdragons, whatever. I honestly don't know like that much about Snapdragons or like chipsets, but my understanding is these chipsets, the chips in here, they're powerful. Um, and until very recently, they were the most powerful chips you could get in a retro handheld. There are a few retro handhelds that have more powerful chips, but these more powerful chips don't necessarily have the same level of support insofar as custom drivers go. So these chips at this point are still your best bang for buck as far as performance goes, as far as like compatibility goes, right now until like those more powerful chips get more powerful um uh stuff. Size wise, it's a pretty nice size, basically being about the same size as a 3DS XL. You can see there is a 3DS XL, there's the thing, it's a little thicker. And unlike 3DS XL, where the screen only goes partway across, the screen on the Odin on the AYN Thor goes all the way across. So it's a bit bigger, isn't it? And that is kind of exactly the device I've been looking for. When I got the AYN, the Retroid Pocket Flip, like 6 months ago, I think I said then two things. I said like I would like it if it was the size of a 3DS XL, and I would also like it if it was you know had two screens. There was wasted space down on the bottom, which I didn't care for as much. I just felt like, well, something should be there. And, AYN has finally done it. They put something there. And, like, this is one of the first Android devices that's running on two screens, so they had to make a bunch of custom considerations. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, special menus here where you can control the brightness of one or both screens. You can turn on the volume or off the volume on one screen or the other, which is perfect for doing things like playing a game while watching a video on one screen or the other. There's settings that make it so where the controllers control, like if you want the controls to be on the top screen or the bottom screen, or based on which one you touched last, you can set that up. I have found in my testing, my playing, that you generally want to just set it to one screen because if you have it on auto tap, like you might just touch the screen accidentally when like doing things like reaching for the start button, or the select. You'll do like this, and that'll tap the corner, and it'll take control if you have it on auto. So you want to set it on top screen, basically, at nearly all times, in my experience. Pretty good quality of life type features. Uh, it has two really nice OLEDs, 1080p. The top one goes up to 120, which surely would not capture. And, even if did, hand wave, um, does basically every like console that is reasonably emulated on Android right now perfectly good, like up to Wii, 3DS, um all the Sega Saturn systems, PlayStation 2, PSP. Some of the higher ends are a little more shaky because honestly, the emulators aren't quite there yet. Like PS3, Vita, Wii U is a little rough as well. Switch seems to work really good. If you care to do that, I'll say for my purposes, I don't need to because I already have a Switch 2, and that already like is portable, is plenty portable for my taste. So that's not really what I need. But like, it's cool that they are working on more advanced emulators, even if they are like kind of a proof of concept at this point. Also, you can do some crap like there's this thing called Game Native, where basically you can log into your Steam library and get your actual Steam games. In my experience, Steam games, they don't work super duper well. Like it's very much a shot in the dark whether it will run at all. And then if it runs, whether it will be like good, whether it would look right, whether it will be playable. I've found Hollow Knight UFO 50 just about perfect, and I've tried some other stuff that has been less perfect. Megabonk kind of runs, but like the enemies seem to randomly disappear and not get rendered, so that's fun. Haven't tried any of these other ones. I should run a game. I should play something on this thing. Kind of have to like touch the screen, like it. The autofocus only works on the main buttons, so like home and back, you have to hit the top screen to get it into alignment, get it into being the thing. I have it currently set up to use Xbox controls, even though the buttons are Nintendo style. It just is more compatible with like Steam and stuff, right? When you're using Game Native, you can't tell it like, oh, this is actually the A button on an Xbox. This is actually the B. It just maps things automatically. So switch it to be the other way and trying to get used to it. I would take it apart if I thought that was a good idea, but I really don't think it's a good idea. I'll say quite obviously, it runs 3DS and DS games great on both screens. What's a good one? 3D Land, sure, why not? Obviously, like 3DS, DS, they both work great. I have this set up, by the way, where I got an audio out into there. The speakers are fine. Nothing special or anything. Just like fine. How's the audio? Are we good? Little hot. Take it down a notch. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, basically 3DS works great. There's multiple emulators, so if there's more compatibility in one emulator than the other, you can try. If one game isn't working that well in one of the emulators, try the other, and hopefully that solves it. Pretty cool. I actually don't want to play that today, right now. I just wanted to launch it as an example because, we've been streaming for a bit. I haven't launched anything, proven that this thing can do what it can. It can launch all sorts of legally dumped backups. Legally dumped backups. That's important to note. These are all legally dumped backups. Yes. Let's play a game. I've been I would like to play some games, and I would like to give some use cases for like what sorts of things you can do with the two screens. Starting with Link to the Past. And this is what actually I've been playing recently on this on my AYN Thor here. And most specifically, I've been playing it where on the bottom screen I've put a guide here because every time I've played Link to the Past in the past recently, I've booted up on Nintendo, Super Nintendo Online, Super Nintendo Classics Collection as it's known now, and I've gotten super lost. I've gotten super lost and confused, don't know where to go, and having a guide on the bottom screen turns out to be pretty damn helpful for just telling you, like, hey, you need to go talk to this guy named Sarasasa or something, and he gives you shoes. And then you need to go to a library and use the shoes to get the thing. Anyway, I'm like 3 temples in now, and that's the farthest I've been in the game, I think, since I was a kid and I rented it. I got pretty far when I rented it. I remember I got to like Turtle Rock or something. Maybe the GBA version was more clear about like how to do. But like every time I played it on like Wii Online or virtual consoles, etc., it's been confusing to me. I have at this point in the game gotten the 3 things, the 3 doodads, and I'm ready to go get the Master Sword. So let's go do that. Ironically, I actually know where it is. I don't need the guide necessarily to tell me, like, go to the forest. I remember that the forest is where the thing is, but it would tell me if I were to just look through. Like, yeah, go through the forest, something. It's pretty convenient having a guide here to reference. And it's allowed me to get farther than I have in this game, and I'd like to finish it this way. Let's go to the forest there and take care of business. I'll say, with the OLEDs and stuff, one thing I really like is that when you are playing landscape games, it just kind of looks natural that the black bars. Jesus. One thing I really like is that the landscape bars on the sides, because it's like portrait style, it's like 4x3. The bars on the side just sort of fade in with the rest of the device. They kind of look natural and just look like, not that different from a 3DS, insofar as like, oh yeah, it has the wings at the sides. It's just fine. Whereas like if this was a wide ass device, the bars at the side would be more distracting because like you'd have controls on either side. It'd be more obvious that it was all screen. You can imagine that's like speaker. And like part of me would wonder if like they could do if in a you could totally imagine, right? Like filling up that black space with like fake speaker grills, like on the 3DS XL. That's probably a silly idea, but I think it'd be fun. I don't know. I also have. I think I'm right now like 1 heart piece away from The hell is this? A rotten fruit. Give it to someone who wants it. Cool. I think, like, I'm 1 heart piece away, so if we could find a heart piece on the way to, like, Hyrule's Castle, that'd be cool. Or Hyrule's Castle? That's not... Hyrule Castle. Not possessive. One thing that's odd about this game, playing it, the go to the castle now is what he's saying. The sword is very good. Go fight the wizard. Okay, so does this have a larger range than the basic sword? I think it might. It does look like it goes farther. You know, I've been playing this on here. The sword range, by default, real damn short. Real damn short. I think at this point, it is best to save and quit so we can warp to, say Link's house, I think is the best place to start. Want to finish this. Once I do, I think I'll do some sort of Link to the Past randomizer, and that'll be fun. I wonder how long that'll take, but we'll see, we'll see. Then after that, I'd like to do Super Metroid, and then during the previously planned randomizer month, which will be in February, I think the last randomizer of that month will be the combo randomizer with the both of them. Is Link here? Is Zelda here? Where's Zelda? Oh, we need to go to Sanctuary, damn it. Okay. Oh, I know we have to go to the castle, but we have to go to the castle after we check in and see that, oh no, she's been kidnapped. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I was just there. There, she wasn't there yet. Presumably she's now gotten there. Let's, y'all cool with, taking care of business with going and saving, Zelda? Let's do that. That seems fun. I do feel like using this guide, it is a little bit, I feel like there could be a better guide out there. You know, I don't know, like, is Zelda Guide the best place for a guide? You know, I did look and see, like, what the Nintendo Power for this game looked like, the player's guide. It seemed more confusing and more just non-linear, you know, it doesn't necessarily tell you where to go next. It just tells you about, like, each of the places in turn, which seems odd when, you know, there's kind of a set order to the places you can go. Collectibles aside. Oh, you know what? Is this a thing where we need to, like, go... There's, like, a door with electricity or something? I think this, I mean, I'm sure I could scroll. Yeah, there it is. We need to go hit that, door right there. You can see. There's not a door over there. I need to go back to this room. And then, yeah. It's been really nice having the two screens. This has been one of the bigger used cases, and you know, this particular game is really the first one I've been playing last week or so, last week or two. I don't know, like, what other things would really require guides, like as far as other games that I've been playing, but it feels good to be taking care of this and to be getting through it for the first time, and I'll try to finish it. You know, I really love Minish Cap. Like, that's probably my favorite of the 2D Zeldas. I you know, haven't, obviously I've not gotten into this one before as much. So I'm curious, like, how I'll feel, I guess, after doing this one. I still think, so far, if I had to pick, obviously, Minish Cap, still my favorite. But, it's been fun. Harder than, definitely harder. Ooh, jeez. Than, the other Zelda games I played before. The more recent ones. It really ramps up a whole fucking lot faster. I'll say also, Link Between Worlds. Obviously a follow-up on this game, but a fantastic one. I really love that particular game. And I could scroll down and see like, oh, you know, am I going the right way? And it would presumably tell me. Probably go through this door then. Oh, oh god. Oh boy. I think that save and continue might be fake. I feel like a couple times I've hit save and continue, and then later found that no save was made. I don't understand how that be. I've had to replay a couple of the dungeons already, and that's annoying. I guess save and quit is the only way. I should also just be using save states as a backup, but I don't know. Feels more authentic to just save and load the normal way. Also, with save states, I always feel like you could accidentally undo your progress by loading the wrong save state. And, not big into that, you know? That's always a concern that I have, you know, like, what if you load the wrong save state and suddenly you're 2 hours behind, you know? And then it saves? If it happened to save during that, like, ooh, you'd be screwed. We would have gotten a fairy, too. Great. Cool. How long is this dungeon, roundabout? Are those stuck pickles on the right of the display? No, it's just some crap. It's just some crap there. Nah, it's just like lint and shit. Ain't pixels at all. Nah, it's a great display, and you know, obviously I just got it, so it's not like it's breaking already. No. It does, like, when it closes, it does have, like, a gap in between, like, the screen and the thing. And I think I've heard people say that, like, lint and stuff gets in there. I don't really take it that many places, so, you know, it's mostly been fine in my experience. But, you know, I guess, like, something to keep in mind. Well, how did he fall there? Very odd. Hello, by the way, Fumesh. Fumesh, how you doing? Obviously, like, anything south of GameCube works perfectly, or close enough to perfectly based on the compatibility. You're not sure whether to get this or the RP6 with the second screen add-on? The Retroid Pocket 6, yeah. I really like this. I had a Flip 2 for a while, and really enjoyed it, but, you know, this just really speaks to me and just really exciting. It's really nice just having the flexibility, and like I said, you know, putting a guide on the bottom screen is just genuinely useful. Watching videos on the bottom screen, also a good option. And it has some good features, again, like, you know, you want to mute the top screen and unmute the bottom screen, you can do that. And that is just lovely for, you know, you put a movie on or something, or YouTube, more likely. I haven't watched any movies on this thing yet, but, like, you know, before I got it, I was trying to play a game and watch Raising Arizona in bed, And I realized that's not really something you can do. With this thing, it's something you can do. Game up here, raising Arizona down there, it would work. It would work. Or maybe erasing Arizona up here, widescreen, and just like a 4x3 game on the bottom. That would also be viable. Oh jeez. Game is challenging. They've got some very smart, like, quality of life stuff in here that I think is, just really excellent, and makes it just, it's very promising, you know? I feel like it is very early, and I do wonder, like, if they're going to, you know, right now, with this thing, pretty much what you see is what you get, right? Like, if you want different hardware, do you want different software, it's kind of not available yet, right? Like, I'm not sure that Rocknix has the same amount of, like, quality of life features for the 2-screen setup yet. But, like, hopefully it'll get there. Hopefully SteamOS will start becoming a thing. That's something I'm really excited about, SteamOS, you know? They were saying the other day that they got it working on ARM, and they're saying that, like, oh, it actually kind of low-key works. And that sounds... It sounds like it works better even than, like, Winlator already does on these devices. And I'm very, like, excited to see that come to fruition. And hopefully, you know, someday soon... I'll say Android can be a pain in the ass on these things, you know? Not as big a pain in the ass as Windows, apparently. Like, I hear Windows, like, people talking about the other retro thing, the gaming handheld Asus ROG Ally X. Like, that apparently is a bigger pain in the ass than Android. But, like, Android is for sure a pain in the ass. And I feel like SteamOS that just sounds like basically a console experience, like a console quality experience, and I'm very curious if that can be made eventually to work on these things. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if in a year's time, I say I wouldn't be surprised, I would really appreciate it if in a year's time I could be running SteamOS on this thing, and like all my Steam games would work, and also similar levels of emulation. You know, basically imagine if this thing could just become a little mini Steam Deck. That is like, you know, the dream, essentially, I think. And also, like, if through that we could start getting, like, you know, more advanced emulators and you know, better compatibility for the advanced emulators that we have. Like I said, PS3 is pretty limited. There's no Xbox 360 yet. Like, if SteamOS could bring, like, 360 emulation to this thing, and I believe it could, considering that, like, when you run Wii U games and they don't have compatibility issues, they run in higher resolution, they run in 1080p, you know, upscaled and all. Everything runs upscaled to the max, by the way. You upscale everything on this thing, except for maybe the pixel art games, you know. They run perfectly with perfect frame rates. It's real nice, you know. Tropical Freeze, I'll say Tropical Freeze and Wind Waker HD in my testing work perfectly. Other games, some major compatibility issues. Try to kill this guy with a jar. Okay, perfect. We got some health back. Let's have this be the run. This will be the last, and we'll move on if I can't do it. It's a hard-ass game. Do people consider this a hard game, or am I just soft? I don't know. I think this is a lot harder than, like, basically any other Zelda 2D Zelda that I've done. And it makes sense, you know, it's an older one. I feel like older games just generally skewed harder. I didn't need to fight that fight. I could have just moved on. Probably should have done. Dude, it goes through walls! I didn't know that went through walls. Never played too much Zelda. Yeah, this one seems good. Definitely will finish this this dungeon off at a later time. Let's show off another use case. One other. Go ahead and don't do that. Don't do that first. Save and quit. Save and quit. Gotta save and quit when you exit this game. I need to remember to do that because otherwise it doesn't save. In my experience. Let's do another thing. Here's a use case that I have been theorizing about, but I haven't necessarily done it yet. I've been playing a bunch of these Banjo-Kazooie ROM hacks recently this year. Like when I got the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, I got these ROM hacks, Jiggies in Time and BK Nostalgia, and they are difficult to do. Is this the factory operating system? This is SEDS. It's ESDE, Emulation Station Desktop Edition. It's a front end to like manage your backup library. It is Android currently, so like you can see on the bottom screen, this is like an Android app list. I do the ESDE for the top screen and the just basic Android for the bottom screen. So I have these like ROM hacks here, and they can be kind of obtuse. They can be kind of confusing. And what you can do and what you want to do with them is Kirko. What you want to do is that Mark Kirko, the developer, the maker of them, has like videos showing like where all the stuff is, all the collectibles. How's the audio? Are we good? Yeah, that seems fine. So in this case, I've loaded up Grunty. Let me see. This is Grunty's mask. Let me see if I can find this over in the his videos. I have here Vivaldi. That's what I've been using for web browsing recently since Google. I'll put in Gruntilda's mask. Full guide, Gruntilda's mask, and the download link. Yes, this is what I want. And you can see here, there's a guide. There's like in the comments. Okay, I'll say like sometimes the aspect ratio of the bottom screen seems to cause some weirdness. Like you can see here, apparently I can't actually open the comments on YouTube. That is a bit screwy. Hopefully, fuck. Something about this square aspect ratio really doesn't agree with certain web browsers, I guess. I've experienced some weirdness before. It's just you know, shit. Android doesn't like squares, apparently. Yeah. Let's just play some and hopefully I can figure out how to consult the guide. Like I said, this is kind of a theoretical thing. I thought it would be a good way to do it, but like if the thing doesn't work, that's a problem, isn't it? Maybe I can go by the description. Nah, the description doesn't have the timestamps in it. Okay, I should maybe test before I show off, but it's cool and good. Let's just play some, and we'll see a 3D game that is upscaled, you know, basically as big as an N64 game can get. Enough dialogue. Let's go. So, one of the things about this one versus the last one did on stream is that, like, I have to, like, find all the moves before I can do anything. You can see I can't even jump. Can't even jump right now. So, that's cool, what the video would show. And let's just for sake of example, just, like, play the video and have it have the audio just to see what that sounds like, looks like, etc. We'll see down there, like, places we can go and how it is, like, framed and stuff. Little small, but, no, it's doable. Does that say, it says subscribe in the corner there. I'll say, mostly tend to play my retro games, without volume, necessarily. Just like, you know... What did I get there, by the way? I should pay attention. Jump onto a tree, okay. So down there we would see, like, fuck. We can get hints as far as, like, where our moves will be. And then, go get them. I'll say, like, Kirko's mods tend to be full of, like, little hidden areas that can be tough to, find, necessarily. Or, you know, that are hidden, obscure. We'll definitely see some in good time. Let's just follow along real fast. There's jumping. Jumping is up here. Very good. So yeah, that's, you know, useful to have, though really could use, it's a shame about the comment thing. Maybe Chrome works better. Maybe I should switch to Chrome on this device. I've been using Vivaldi on the phone recently and on the web browser, and it's convenient to have everything in one place, but Chrome might work better, I'll say. In fact, let me just... I got Chrome. Let me just go ahead and, where is the Chrome? Did I like hide it or something? I might have hidden it because I was like, you know what? I'm going with this. Okay, shit. Try Brave. That's a nice browser on Android. I do have that on iPhone, and it's pretty cool that you can watch videos in the background on iPhone. But it is a little bit weird and obtuse, and I've been going with Vivaldi for like a default. Has some weird properties, it does. Where's that one? Oh, it's by the crate. Yeah, Brave is alright. Are there other web browsers? I will say I'm not exactly 100% happy with Vivaldi. Not 100% sold. It's alright, but, like, you know, I think there are some things that are clunky about it compared to Android, you know? We got the Beak Barge. Excellent, okay. Apparently they're getting these shoes. The shoes are on top of the building. On top of the inn, the stock part inn. Okay, I can get that. Let me get up there. Don't have an attack yet. Can I, like, go through the door? Yeah, let's go through the door. Gotta head out. Good luck on the rest of the stream. Thanks for stopping by, Chard. Oh, you can't actually go that way. I kind of want to do this one. You know, this Banjo-Kazooie ROM hack. You know, I love Majora's Mask, and I enjoyed the other Zelda one that this dude did. Let me turn the volume back on for the top screen. It seems good. And this is a good way to play it. It's a little dark. Hang on, let me turn up the brightness a bit. There, I think you can see it a bit better now. Yeah? Yeah? Look good? Looks good, yeah. Lot of text, lot of text. I'm going to do a save state, and let's bounce out of here. That's enough of this. Mixed results here as far as that goes, but let me say, like, as far as just, like, watching videos regular style without, you know, provided that you don't care about timestamps or comments, it works pretty good. You know, I've definitely, like, been watching some videos and playing some games at the same time on this thing, and it's pretty convenient. You know, obviously the ability to, like, modify the two volumes independently is just excellent for it. I would like next to look at a more advanced system. Look at the most advanced system that I can almost run. The PlayStation 3. Let's look at some of this. Now, PlayStation emulation is very early and kind of unstable. And I'll say, like, it has all sorts of options here that I have screwed around with at my peril, because right now it seems, in my experience, to be a little bit crashy, and I'm not sure what I've done here that has caused it to be a little bit crashy. You know, but I have it upscaled. I have turned on multi-threading. I relaxed some stuff. I turned up the shader compilation. Okay, I don't know what VBlank and STSC. Let's try turning that off. That's probably a bad thing. VBlank rate, I think higher is better there. Vulkan settings, everything else is pretty much default. Okay, I think this should work. I'll say I've managed to play some Project 8. That's been the game that's been the most stable so far, in my experience. But when I say stable, bear in mind, first off, it has to compile. Like, the first time that you play it, especially, it'll take any of these games, which, by the way, are a pain in the ass to manage because they're big-ass ISOs and they have to be decrypted before you can use them. Before you can play them, they have to, like, pre-compile a bunch of shaders, and it takes, like, 10 minutes to an hour the first time, and, like, the second time, you know, maybe a minute before it actually launches. That's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing is that it does seem like the audio really stutters, so we probably don't want to listen to it. We probably want to turn it down. Let's see if it does, though. Look at that. It looks pretty smooth, right? Well, hang on. This thing can run PS3 in theory, I think, if the emulators were better. You have to go through this whole cutscene. This is running pretty good, actually. I think this is I think we might see some Project 8. Hell yeah. Let's go. Gotta get through this. The audio is actually being pretty smooth, but it is what they call copyrighted. Is it using RPC S3 emulator? It's using like a fork of it. There is RPCSX is an option, but I wasn't able to get that working, but I was able to get APS3E working, which is also forked off RPCS3. It's like a port of that to Android. Let's load the game that I have, and I'll skate around a bit and see how stable this is. I've been able to play some of this game. It is a little bit framey. You can hear now, by the way, that the audio is chopping up. So, probably want to turn that off and, go back to Vivaldi and be like, give us some Sonic Adventure 2 music. Let's do that instead. And usually if you were playing this, I would just have a YouTube video going, like an actual, like just watch anything on YouTube or a movie or something. But, come on, internet, what the hell? YouTube.com, please, and give me Sonic Adventure 2 music. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that, you can maybe get it more stable, like, by messing with the various settings. But, it's kind of playable. When it sees something that you haven't done before, it needs to, compile, compile some stuff. And, that can also cause, slowdown. You'll see, in the corner, it'll say, compiling shaders. In this case, it's just kind of choppy. If the emu is dropping... How's the audio, by the way? Are we good? Yeah. If the emu is dropping frames, is there an option to close down the second screen to save on GPU? As far as I can tell, it's not really that much of a factor, but you can totally turn off the bottom screen there and just have the top screen. Probably really important to note, right? Because, if you're just playing a game on the top screen, you don't really need to have anything on the bottom screen, and it's good that that's an option. Project 8 is really cool, and I really love, how open it is, and I very firmly desire the day where we can have Project 8 and other PlayStation 3/360 games on these retro handhelds. I feel like once those emulators come through, if Valve's Proton emulation stuff is as good as they're saying, maybe 360 emulation is just a matter of getting SteamOS on this thing, and then we'll use the Windows emulator for 360, and we'll suddenly just have, at the very least, Xbox Live Arcade games on this thing. I feel like Xbox Live Arcade games are going to be really cool and really good for this form factor, that sort of portable game, that sort of game is just begging to be portable, I think. It's not auto-playing, is it? Give me Persona 3 Reload music. Execute like daily operations. It's early days. Android isn't optimized for two-screen operations. I think that's true, but in my experience, it does perform pretty damn well, regardless of whether you're doing one screen, two screen, etc. There's definitely some things that could be improved about, like, the general experience, I'll say. You know, like, there have been times where I've been confused which screen is in focus. I do feel like, you know, there's this setting here for the audio lock. I feel like the auto lock could be on this screen with, like, the, you know, the brightness, the volume settings, top screen stuff, etc. I feel like that could be over there. Runs pretty good. Let me lower the brightness a little bit, see if you can get a better image there. It looks real damn good on my screen. Let me say, frame rate aside, you can make it so that it drops frames, I'll say. And you tried an early build of RPCS 3 and most games were unplayable. I'll say, in my experience, yes. Most games are unplayable. That is true. It is true. Like, I've only been able to get this running, and also Bioshock, and that was short-lived. I think now I can't, last time I tried Bioshock, it just crashed. Like, I guess I screwed something up in the settings. Like, really, you need, like, a whole team, and it's kind of a not trivial process to be like, okay, try this setting, you know, see what works. And then once you do figure it out, it's like, okay, I have to repeat that whole process for every other game. This is not quite here yet, but it's pretty cool and novel, I think, that, you know, it works this well even. This specific game. Pretty rad, pretty rad. You'll have your real PS3, so you'll wait until there's a stable build. Oh, absolutely. And I'll say, I bet it works better on PC, to be clear. Like, you know, this is a port of a PC emulator that is a lot more advanced than this, a lot more compatible in my, from what I hear, so, like, you know... Oh, I think it crashed. It was working pretty well until it crashed, right? Okay, let's bail out of here. Pretty cool. Work in progress, but I'm excited for the future for PS3 emulation on this thing and Xbox 360. I hope performance-wise it's better than that, but long-term. But, like, I feel like a lot of the performance is just it being very early. And, like, also, low-key, I do think that, like, since the PS3 was always a hard, complicated thing to emulate, I feel like 360 might be actually more performant, like, once they actually get that onto Android somehow, either through SteamOS or, you know, the translation layers that SteamOS is going to use on the new headset thing that they got going, or whatever. Bounce out of here. I could show Wii U real fast. Sure, why not? With Nintendo games, you gotta be a little bit cautious, a little bit like defensive and all, but I think they're okay with Wii U. And Wind Waker specifically. They're probably not gonna raise a stink. It's not like I'm showing Odyssey. Parentheses, Odyssey, when you have the Vulcan drivers, seems to work perfectly good. Dread as well. I tested indie games. Indie games work great. No question. It's cool and good. Oh, let me turn back up the volume. Also, I'm set on auto lock. I need to be set on top screen when I'm doing this two-screen emulation. It's always actually the top screen, and if you have the focus on the bottom screen, the controls won't work. It's kind of funky a little bit that it works like that, but It does. So yeah, this works great. This is upscaled to 1080p. Performance-wise, Wii U, Xbox 360, PS3 level emulation is moi is it's not a problem of performance. It's mostly a problem with compatibility. And I'll say, like in my experience, um, a lot of other Wii U games don't work great. You can turn on 120 frames a second mode and look at the frame count there. You can see right now we're getting 71 frames a second, 75, 82. It's pretty damn smooth. Well, it's going up and down constantly. Maybe that's not ideal, but like, keep in mind also this is upscaled to higher resolutions. I gotta crank the audio so you can hear it. The performance of this emulator makes me believe that, like, better things are possible. I'll say Switch emulation also works beautifully. A big thing there is that the Switch is pretty similar in, like, chipset. It's like an ARM device and crap compared to this. So, it makes sense that they would be, like, cross-compatible. That, like, it would work on the Switch similar to how it would work here. Shall we free Tingle? I don't know. We've been doing a lot of Zelda. Zelda and Tony Hawk are the two threads today, I guess. There's Tingle. Runs beautifully. Runs in perfect frame rate. Like I said, other games I tried didn't work, which is a shame because, that's probably enough Wind Waker. Let's pop out of here. I'll say I did try, like, Mario Maker. I tried getting my Mario Maker save off of my Wii U and onto this. And unfortunately, when I have all my levels there, or even any of the levels, it crashes whenever it tries to load them. So, it's a work in progress. It's very early. Star Fox Zero doesn't work at all. Splatoon doesn't work at all. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform doesn't work at all. I haven't tried all these games. Tropical Freeze works great. I haven't tried all these games that I backed up legitimately in a legitimate fashion, but those that I've tried have been kind of rocky on average, with only the few that only like two specifically I've managed to get working. Oh, and Rainbow Curse. Rainbow Curse works great. You can draw on the top. The weird thing is with these this emulator is that you can use the touchscreen on the top or the bottom. Both work, provided it's like mirrored across both screens. The content. Let's play some touchscreen games. Let's play some DS. We can't leave here without playing the most obvious use case, the original DS. By the way, hey, look, there's a comparison with the original DS Fat, the original one. It's got much larger screens, but is actually kind of low-key similar in quality, in size. Look at that. Kind of a similarly chunky boy. Also, the Game Boy SP fits neatly into the AYN Thor's lap. The screen is about the size of the like the bottom of it. I guess like including the bezel, the top screen of the SP. Let's play some DS games real fast. That's the next thing I want to do. In particular, y'all ever actually play Feel the Magic? This is one that I feel like everyone heard about during like the launch time, but how many people actually played it? I feel like it's a lot more known by its reputation than like actually what it is. Because let's look at what it is. It's kind of weird. I got a stylus here. I ordered like ooh, wow, that's loud. Adjusting. With the touchscreen, with the dual screens on the thing, you can make one screen bigger than the other one by necessity. Like, you know, this screen is taller than this screen. This screen fits in more of the DS. I find it is best to make the top screen as big as you can, even though it means that, like, alignments will be an issue. I don't think that matters. It's fine. I always got the impression this was like sort of a sexy thing, you know, like a horny thing. You know, it's called Feel the Magic XXYXY, you know, and it has like a sexy lady on the cover. But it's just a bunch of like weird mini games where you type in numbers. Oop. There can be some weirdness with Android, I'll say. Like, if you swipe in from the side, you get a menu to come up. And I don't know how you disable that, because, like, on the bottom screen, it's very easy while playing certain games to accidentally... Oops. To accidentally activate that. This is less sexy than advertised, I think, than indications would indicate. Get the hell out of this one. Is there a better option right now? Got heart candle. Y'all ever see this game? Is this what you expected? Sort of a bad minigame collection? Turns out, it's a bad minigame collection. Oh geez, you gotta blow on it. Let's see if this works. Woo! This might be overly sensitive. The microphone might be... You know what, I think it's... As far as I can tell, there's not like a bunch of noise right now that should be activating this, let's see your microphone. But, whatever. Hey, free win.
Break time.
Oh, there's your sexy lady. Look, she's right there. Enjoy her. And now back to, voice-activated minigames that, seem like they're weird on this emulator. This might be an emulator-specific issue, I'll say. Also, it's funny that you can just win the game by doing nothing. Just literally just making the maximum amount of noise and having it automatically blow. I mean, I guess I got 45 out of 100 there. I don't know. Is that good? Maybe that's not good. Story. Scene 1. Scene 2. Yeah, let's try Scene 0. Yeah, a few years ago, Retro Handhelds maxed out at PS1. So, yeah. The next iteration... I feel like right now, Retro Handhelds are more limited by the emulators and availability thereof versus, like, oh, look, sexy lady. Versus, like, oh, yeah, that's a sexy lady right there. Versus, like, being limited by the hardware. Like, right now, hardware is the limitation. PS3 emulators are the limitation. And Vita and, not the Switch. The Switch emulation, probably, like, the most advanced of the more modern emulators. We are the super performance group, Rub Rabbits. Will you help us with our performance? It really sounds like these guys just sort of, you know... What the hell can you expect? They call themselves the Rub Rabbits. They like to rub. I think, like, in other territories, this was called, like, Project Rub or something. Oh, we gotta make... Is this game like a 2 out of 5? this game might be a 2 out of 5, honestly. And it especially, doesn't hold up in a age where, like, touchscreen games have, like, come a long way since, like, the very first ones of them. You know, maybe you gotta give it some credit, like, okay, well, this was one of the first touchscreen games, so, like, yeah, no, they thought that, like, awkwardly guiding fish to the top of the throat was a good idea, you know? We got, like, Reject WarioWare. Isn't that enough? I mean, I'll say, like, actual WarioWare came, like, within a year and a half, right? Like, it was... Wasn't it, like, within the first year of the DS? So, like, I don't think you can give that much credence to, like, you know... I'm not sure, like, do I have to, like, pass scene 1 to get to anything more? I don't think you can give it that much, credit. It's enough, Field of Magic XYXY. How about, DK Jungle Climber? Now, this is a good game. Yes. Jungle Climber is real fucking good. A game that I would highly recommend. One thing that is weird, when you have the 120 frames a second enabled, the bottom screen can tear a little bit, so you might want to do 60 just as a rule of thumb. The reason is because the bottom screen is just 60 frames a second. Maybe in the Thor 2, when they do a Thor 2, they'll change that. Yeah, basically Jungle Climber is a game where you have you climb with the left trigger and the right trigger, and sort of do like Clue Land type semi-platforming. It's cool and good. And also you can hit a button to like do a lunge attack. Jungle Climber is sick. I played a little bit of that here. You know, I'll say it's a really great DS game, one that, you know, obviously I backed all these up legitimately, but also, you know, I played this at the time, you know, I didn't acquire it in the years since. And I've really loved it, its whole existence, basically. A hell of a game, and like, you know, basically before spoilers, in the era, this was like the last time Kremlings, Flitters, other DKC enemies were seen alive, other than like sports games, you know, for like until Smash Brothers, pretty much, and maybe like one of the soccer games which had a Kremlin in it. This was one of the only places where you could see these dudes and all these guys. And also there's a talking banana whose name is Zananab. He's like an alien banana. We'll beat a level here. And this is a great example, by the way, of a game that, you know, has like the connection thing, you know, between the top screen and the bottom screen. And I don't know if you agree, but it's kind of fine that they're not lining up. And it's better that both are as big as they can be, and they take up as much space. It's kind of a shame that there's like black bars in between, like you can see here, like at the top and bottom of the bottom screen. But it's fine, you'll live with it. If you have the black version of this, it blends in more naturally. But I'll say, like, this is a very reflective system. Like you can see here, if I tilt it and let the lighting get on it, it really like reflects off. And apparently the black is even more severe insofar as like the reflections being distracting. So like you probably want one of the colored ones. Either I think either the white or the rainbow, which is what I have. This is the rainbow, sort of SNES Famicom, Super Famicom colors, essentially. Those would be the colors that I think most would recommend. I personally went with the rainbow. I'll say, like, I was really on the fence as far as, like, rainbow versus white. I also think the white is beautiful. And like, honestly, like, when there's a Thor 2, if there's a Thor 3 or whichever one I upgrade on eventually, I totally think I will change to the white color on the next go-round. I think that'll be my next retro handheld, will be a white one, assuming that it's another Thor. I feel like it'd be hard for me to go to another retro handheld that didn't have a 2-screen setup, considering like how useful this is for doing DS games properly, doing them justice, having a touchscreen in the right spots, and like displaying games like this naturally. What time is it, by the way? We've been going about an hour. Nice. This'll maybe be a shorter stream, looks like. I didn't end up doing as much Link to the Past or Banjo-Kazooie mod as I at first expected. This is more a demo than necessarily just like, you know, playing a bunch of each game, it turns out. But that's fine, you know, I got places to be, you know, after this. So, better to get it done, show off the potential, and show how I've been using it, etc. And I feel like in the last hour we've seen quite a few different use cases, quite a few different, like, examples of, like, what it can do, what it struggles with, what's not there yet, etc. DS is, like, all the way there, I think, pretty much. Like, maybe there's some quality of life issues, like if your focus shifts to the bottom screen, the buttons stop working. Just set it to default, always have the buttons on the top screen, unless you otherwise need to do otherwise, and you will be good. I think we're almost done with this level. Again, Jungle Climber, real damn good. Probably should do a full playthrough of it sometime, but the awkward thing is, you know, unless I'm doing it like this, like on the channel and stuff, unless I'm doing it like this, which is not exactly ideal as far as, like, space used, you know? Like, a lot of screen real estate is being left on the table here. You know, it's, not exactly as it would be, you know, it'd have to be, like, laid up, like, you know, big screen over here, small screen over there, or otherwise, we're not gonna do another level. That's enough Jungle Climber. Oops. I will say I've been playing some Ace Attorney. Want to do the second game. Did the first game last year, and then didn't end up going into the second game. With this 2-screen handheld situation, it is ideal for that. I will not show that because, you know, it's just a story-based game. You would just see me going through rooms and talking to people. But let's look at a little Dawn of Sorrow, because I think this is Dawn of Sorrow is an interesting use case. Dawn of Sorrow is an interesting use case insofar as I think in the case of Dawn of Sorrow, it is actually correct and right to switch the screens, which I have been able to do at the press of a button. Usually, the gameplay would be on the bottom screen. Would be on the bottom screen, like this. But I think it is much better to have it on the top screen, where it can be sufficiently big. Kind of, you know, I think the bottom screen makes more sense for, like, maps and stuff, and, like, things that are more tertiary, more secondary. And as a result, you know, I think it's more fun to play it this way, with the screen up here. Does that make sense? Really damn good. And I think a better way to play it than the, I'll say I think this is a better way to play this game than the Switch version, the Switch collection. All three of them, you know. Like, in that version, it's a very weird setup where, like, the gameplay is as big as it can be, but then the map is really small and tiny, like in the corner. Whereas in this one, you have, like, a full-sized map situation under your, or over if you go by the default, over under, let's say under, like I'm doing, under your full-sized gameplay, which I think is much more ideal, much better. Very cool. This game is fucking great. I'm one of the games I mean to replay on this device, as well as the other Castlevanias. You know, like I said, this was not as good on other devices because the map was too small. Map too small. Menu too well, not the menu, but like you can get the stat screen also too small. And with this, they're both like huge and big and good. Which I think is just lovely. Also, of course, it will handle like other, you know, Castlevanias, the GBA one, the PS2 one, Symphony of the Night. I also want to replay Symphony of the Night, but that's just like less relevance as far as this goes. I'll say with some of these like one-screen games playing this, I definitely feel an acute sense of like, oh man, the map would be really good if I could get the map down there, you know? Like when I was playing Zelda earlier, like, oh man, it'd be great if you could just have, which Zelda? The Link to the Past. It'd be really great if it could just be like two-screen supported. I wonder if ever there'd be like a place for like two-screen hacks of games where like, you know, oh, you get like your Symphony of the Night, but a on-screen map on the bottom screen has been hacked in. Like, that'd be very fun if that were ever the case. I kind of doubt that unless these devices become a lot less niche. Then again, you know, there's widescreen hacks, so why not two-screen hacks? The niche factor is most of it. Two-screen retro handhelds are very new. And, you know, probably will continue to be somewhat niche. We'll see, I guess. Let's go over here. But this game, like, I'm not sure how much I need to show necessarily. I mean, you can see it works great. You can see it's just fine, and you can see that like it is a better experience than the alternative would be. I think I have really low health. I should use an item. Potion me up. Okay, something's wrong there with that emulator. Never seen that crash before, but interesting. It is worth noting that these DS forks of these emulators are relatively new. Maybe they have some issues to them. We did just save, so it's fine. Any other DS games I want to show real fast? No, I think we're good, but we should show some 3DS stuff. We should play something on the 3DS to end. One last thing. What would be good? What's good? 3DS has a lot of good games. Mario Kart 7, Mario Party, Returns 3D. Got a bunch of backups here. Metroid Samus Returns. Yeah, let's show Samus Returns real fast. Samus Returns as the last. Show off a little bit of 3DS emulation. In some cases, like I said, you probably will have to pick up a specific emulator. In this case, this one didn't work so well on like Azahar, I think. But it works better on Citra, I think is what it is. And this is that. This is the other one. Citra, is that the other 3DS emulator? It's fine. Just the volume here a little bit. Yeah. By the way, DS, 3DS, N64, GameCube, etc., all upscaled to like max resolution. This is like basically as close to 1080p as you can get for this for these emulators, and working 100% fine. I've heard that there's other DS style retro handhelds coming. Like there's one that's a really cheap one below $100. Worth noting with that one is that the retro handheld review people have Retro Game Core, and specifically, let's say, he's looked at the stats and said like, okay, just comparing off like comparable devices with comparable chipsets, it won't be able to run like the best DS emulators. It will only be able to run the most efficient DS emulators, and those have some like compatibility issues currently that surely they'll have had to have sorted out before getting them onto that device. In other words, with the cheapest of these two-screen devices, you probably should be careful as far as like, compatibility, performance might be what they call dog shit. But what am I missing here? Never actually finished this game. I would like to, considering that I do love Dread, which by the way also runs great on this thing, if you're wondering. Oh, do I need to like stand at this pedestal? No. Do I have the morph ball? Yes, I do. Okay. Would like to play it all in full. Might do. With a retro handheld and having access to like hundreds of your legally dumped backups at any one time, it's so easy to just like dip into a random game, play for an hour or 10 minutes or whatever, and then move on. Scan pulse. Let's go. That's nice. Yes, I played Dread. I understand what the scan pulse does. You do it via the touchscreen, apparently. Wow. Like you hold it down or with the sticks, or maybe a D-pad, something or other. I did not read what it said to do. Okay, I found the thing. Just by shooting. That works as well. It's a shame that the team that made this and Dread didn't go on to make a third Metroid. After Dread, I thought they were kind of hot shit. You'd think that they would be brought on board to make a third, but I guess Nintendo said otherwise. And they ended up making something else that apparently came out already, and no one noticed. I didn't notice either, and I have no plans on following up. Doesn't sound like terribly interesting, I guess. Weird that it increases the capacity just by 3 rather than 5. I feel like 5 is the traditional number, Gonna be like a Metroid in here. The structure of Samus Returns always seemed very weird to me. Like, it's less Metroidvania-y than any of the other Metroid games, you know? It's kind of linear. Kind of just a bunch of linear areas in a row. And each area just seems kind of, samey, you know, compared to other games in the franchise. I don't know, maybe, I think I played more of, another Metroid 2 remake than this game. And maybe that one just, more basic, more, maybe this version does more with the areas. More with the biomes, etc. Fleshes them out a bit. Who can say? I haven't gotten that far. But I did burn out of another, you know, before finishing, so take that as you will. If I were to, I'll say I think like I want the direction for a third one of these. I feel like a good way to do would be to do another like Dark World, like Metroid Prime 2, and have it so that the Dark World is sort of like your Emmy zone, where things are harder and more difficult and etc. And then have it so that the Light World, you know, it's just normal style. I think that'd be a cool way to make it exciting and good and fun and etc. 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 Is there like hidden Metroids? What the hell is that beeping? Okay, yeah, let's fight a Metroid and head out. I think we're good after this. Feel like I've showed off enough, you know. Bear in mind that like some of these emulators take some significant setup to get working and get performing right. But like once you do, basically like upscale to max resolution, 1080p should work great on everything you try, bearing like compatibility issues. You know, in which case, maybe try the other emulator. Those sorts of limitations aren't so much due to the handheld, but more just like the software, branches of the software, newer, things being a little too new currently, etc., etc. You know, like it's all a work in progress right now. Ooh, energy tank. We'll find a save. Next save will end. The beeping is kind of annoying. Charge beam, nice. I like getting items. The AYN Thor. I think it's time for final thoughts. After I get a save point, I will give some final thoughts here. And, you know, whether I would recommend the device. Absolutely. I think that this is basically as good as retro handhelds can get right now. It has the best chipset that you can put in this thing. It has, like, the best form factor I could possibly ask for. Let me save, and then we'll do final thoughts and all that. Save points right here. That's right, it's a nice new DS. Hey, Hamed, how you doing? That's basically what it is, a nice new DS, but with all the emulation capacity that you want in such a thing. There we go. Go ahead and get a nice little save here. Excellent. People say wait for version 2. Hmm. Let me bounce out of here. Go back to the whoopsie daisy. I'm hitting the wrong button. Why is this screen being weird? Some rough edges, I'll say, with the some of the software, some of the new stuff. I'm sure it'll get ironed out over time. Final impressions, final thoughts here at the end of this stream. Um, I think the AYN Thor is fucking great. I think its chipset is as good as you could ask for in a retro handheld. The size of it basically being the size of a 3DS XL, but with a screen that goes all the way left right, is wonderfully, perfectly good. The grip makes it the grips that you can get, which I recommend you get for like 15 extra dollars when you buy the thing. Really makes it nicely ergonomic. I think this is as good as a retro handheld can get until such time as new emulators are developed. You know, like I think genuinely, as far as like a V2, V3, it wouldn't be able to change that much. But besides like maybe some like form factor things, like okay, maybe the screens could be like when it closes it could be more like seamless, you know, or like maybe they could get rid of this island and make it a little bit smaller and a little bit less you know, pop out y, you know. Like stuff like that is really minor. As far as the chips go, these chips are the strongest chips that currently have like really good turnip support, you know. So they're actually really good chips to have. There are like, you know, there is a bigger two-screen handheld that's out there that I've heard is not as good as this. You know, it has better chips, it's bigger, but it's also like twice the price, and that is basically like what you can, you know, that's basically the trade-off you will make if you want like better chips, right? You'll have to pay twice as much, and also the emulator, like the turnip driver support, isn't necessarily there for those better chips yet. So right now, you're better off with these. And you know, like I said, these chips are as good as you need for all these emulators that currently exist. And hell, even like, you know, Wii U, PS3 emulation, Wii U emulation seems to work great. PS3 is a little rougher. A lot of that is just that PS3 emulation is a lot earlier than Wii U, I guess. But like basically what it comes down to is they will need to develop better emulators and like more advanced emulators and like PS3 emulation that's more reliable generally before this chipset is unable to handle things that you will throw at it. Oh shit, you know what? I just remembered I was going to play a round of Fortnite just to show that you can also do like Android games. Just got into Fortnite. You can play Android games on it as well. I played a couple rounds of Fortnite last few nights. I just started playing it just on Thursday night stream. It seems to work okay for what it's worth. Definitely like not as good as on the Switch 2, but like it'll run and you can shoot people, and that's pretty good. Okay, noted, noted. That's enough. That's fine. Um, don't forget the CFW side. What's that? Clarify, Fumesh. What do you mean CFW? Um, I think this is a lovely handheld. I think the two screens really added a lot of versatility. You know, like I said, you can put a video on the bottom screen, put a game on the top, custom firmware. Ah, yeah, when SteamOS has a fork of SteamOS that like supports this thing to replace Android, that's going to be wonderful. That's going to be great. That obviously isn't here yet. It's way too early for like two screen custom firmwares. I guess that's a concern. You like if you want a custom firmware, you're probably going to want to stick to a one screen device currently. You know, like with Rocknix or hell, maybe even SteamOS, provided that like the ARM version of that is like publicly available. But like the two screens really help. They're perfect for DS, 3DS, and Wii U, and even for non that, you can either turn off the bottom display or put a video there. And since you can like adjust the volume individually and turn off the top screen volume, turn on the bottom screen, it's great for watching movies, videos, YouTube in bed, which previously was kind of hard to do while playing a retro handheld, which I think is a killer app. I think I like that a lot. I like watching stuff while playing stuff at the same time, and the thought of doing it in bed is really appealing. Haven't found the time to do that much yet. Will do in the future, I'm sure. So would I recommend? Yes, I would. And like as far as like if I think I will upgrade to a new version of it, like the V2, V3, it depends. Like if like 360 PS3 emulation comes online and this thing can't handle it, but the number two can, like that would be the only reason I would see to upgrade. Really, if Xbox 360 emulation doesn't work that well on it, but it works better on a newer thing, like in that case, I would see reasonable need to emulate, but until such time, which is a theoretical future at this point until such time, this is 100% adequate, 100% capable, able to do everything you can do with an Android handheld at this moment. I agree that I want to get some custom hard firmware on it. Like Android is kind of clunky. If this could just become like a mini Steam Deck and run SteamOS, like Valve is kind of implying by saying that they got SteamOS working on their ARM headset and it's open source and people will be able to do forks of it. Like, yeah, man, that's really exciting. I can't wait for that to come to fruition, and I'm very curious how that will go. I think we are done. There's the final thoughts there. Um, Thanks for joining me, hanging out, and watching me just show off my handheld. Let me pull up the schedule. This has been a big week of streams, by the way. I've been doing a bunch of streams this week to celebrate 500 subs. There's just one left, just tomorrow's stream, really. Though, also, I'm going to do a Monday stream. You can see the calendar here. Um, this week, we started with Portal 2, first stream of that. Metroid Prime Randomizer on Tuesday. Then Windswept on Wednesday. Fortnite for the first time on Thursday. Mario Maker viewer levels as per normal on Friday. Now this stream Saturday morning. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to do a scenario of Open RCT2, which I think will be a bit of fun. And then Portal 2 on Monday. Portal 2, second part of that, Monday. This has been a long week, but a fun week. It's fun to do a bunch of streams and of various sorts. I think this was a better idea than just like trying to plan like some big celebration all at once for the 500 sub milestone. Doing more streams than I've ever done in a row for years, seems like an adequate celebration and like I think today went well. You're welcome for the stream, Foot Mesh. I will catch y'all tomorrow at 6 p.m. for the Open RCT2. Monday, we'll have the second Portal 2 stream. After that, I will be on my usual cadence of not doing streams until Friday, which will be nice and relaxing as a change of pace, back to the normal change of pace, back to the normal pace, um, viewer levels on Friday, and then, various streams in the future. Eventually, we'll do Link to the Past randomizer once I finish Link to the Past off stream. Extra Life on Black Friday, that'll be a whole thing. Look for a lot of streams in the future, schedule will always be at the end of every stream, as it always is, Let me see if I can send y'all on a raid. I do believe that Giant Bomb has started their Extra Life. Let me see if I can raid them. Let me see if I can send y'all their way and stuff. I'm going to send y'all to Giant Bomb, provided they don't have some sort of minimum threshold for doing a raid. but it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. Extra Life. There you go. I've sent in the raid. Perfect. I will see y'all tomorrow for Open RCT2. That's Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. If you don't know, very good modern remake of the Roller Coaster Tycoon games that is like independently made. And tomorrow I'll be playing a custom campaign that they're testing for the purpose a custom campaign scenario that I am to test to see if it's any good. That'll be interesting. That'll be fine. That'll be fun. It's been a while since last time I played Open RCT2. Looking forward to that. Portal on Monday, viewer levels on Friday, Extra Life on Black Friday, a week after that. Fun, 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 fun. I'll see you various times in the future, including tomorrow, including the next day. Give your loves to the VODs. Short form content's also alright. The shorts, they're also cool. Good night, everyone. I say good night. It's still morning. Good afternoon, everyone. What the hell are you supposed to say at the end of a morning stream? If not good night. Goodbye. There we go. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Love to the VODs, etc., etc. Goodbye.